Ronaldo signs for City or something, I wouldn't be much shocked. It's all part of the game, man.
Similarly, Harry Kane also coming out publicly says he
Yeah.
wants to leave with crazy transfer window. This is happening. Starting off with Messi going to PSG. Who would have thought like Cristiano Ronaldo and Leo Messi moving in the same transfer window? Potentially, of course, is linked to PSG as well. But now I just like to ask you this: like in a political concept, like generating, we have already known how the name of United is used to generate
Yeah.
transfers, to generate rumors. Now, bear with me on this. There's just an hypothesis of mine is that you do not link Ronaldo with Man United. You link him with Man City. That is 100% bad
Correct.
PR for Manchester United, knowing that the funds are available, knowing that
Yeah.
he would definitely strike off anything to come to United. And for
Correct.
example, if he goes to City, because United rejected him, similarly what happened with Fabregas when he was offered to Arsenal and he chose Chelsea instead in 2016. But do you think that United, with all the unnecessary complications at this time, because all United fans, including you and me, would have in a heartbeat chosen Jadon Sancho over Cristiano Ronaldo this summer, was he been available? Also, if he was available and if we knew that, we would have not extended Edinson Cavani. It is more of a Juventus pushing away Ronaldo than him moving. This is what I feel. But do you think if he moves to City, United will get into an unnecessary, very unnecessary form of complication that whenever a striker misses a sitter, it will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer head on the line saying that you could have signed him and he could have scored that, and United season is looking well, suddenly goes haywire just for some unnecessary rumor?
See, first and foremost, I think I'll have to give a lot of credit to you for beautifully summing that up. I think you've summed it up perfectly. If we didn't sign Ronaldo because we extended Edinson Cavani's contract and we are looking to build a team with young players. So I'm wondering that United didn't choose to sign Ronaldo because United are in the market for a top quality striker next window, whether it is Mbappe or Haaland or whoever you want to name it. Of course, I don't think United are in for Mbappe. Haaland is the one which is making the rounds, and I think more often than not we will sign Haaland is what I think, until unless someone else gets into the act. Personally, I would have chosen Harry Kane over anyone if United were going to sign a striker this window, but then it looks like the window is almost over. We're not going to get. But you made a very interesting point that, if any striker misses, forget it, be it Edinson Cavani or Anthony Martial or Marcus Rashford or even Jadon Sancho for that matter, there is a lot of pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this year, because he's already got the squad what he's deserved and what he's asked for, apart from a DM, which I don't know if he's asked for or if he's interested or anything of that sort. So the pressure is very high on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yes, you are right. If a striker is going to miss a sitter and we are going to come up with a Southampton kind of a game where we could have gone for the kill, but we chose a safety first option. Yes, the critics will all be out on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. How much will it affect Manchester United? I think it will affect more, because right now we are in a situation where there are 5 or 7 players whose situation we don't know. For example, Paul Pogba. We have no idea on Paul Pogba's scenario that whether he's going to sign the contract or not. Is he playing for the transfer or is he playing for the new contract? We don't know that. We don't know what's going to happen with David De Gea, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said as soon as Dean Henderson is back, he's going to be number 1. So what happens with David De Gea? So you already have 2 linchpins of this team whose situation is not sure. And to add on to it, if you have a striker who's missing that one-on-one chance or that goal which could have sealed 3 points for Man United, then I think the pressure will be totally back on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer rather than on the squad now, because everyone will be out saying that you wanted a defender, you got Varane. You wanted an upgrade on the fullback, you got Alex Telles. Of course, Luke Shaw has pumped in much better than that. You wanted a midfielder who can give you 10 goals, you got Bruno Fernandes. You wanted a right winger up, you didn't get it last year, you got it this year. You wanted a left winger, you have multiple options to play left wing. In spite of all that, you have no clarity on Paul Pogba's situation. You have no clarity on David De Gea's situation. You have no clarity on Jesse Lingard's situation. You gave a contract extension to Phil Jones, 4-year contract extension last year. On what basis? No one knows. You extended Juan Mata's contract. You extended Nemanja Matic's contract, which clearly means you had a vision in your head. Okay. Right. But the squad is what you demanded and you got it. Right now, if you don't deliver with the squad and the striker misses the chance, then everything will be at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. All the swords will be at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, not on Manchester United at that point of time. Because the obvious logic to that will is, you got your squad, man. Now it's how you manage it. It's just like that, right? If a team gets relegated, all the blame is on the managers, never on the players. I mean, yeah, they'll say ki हाँ ठीक है अच्छा नहीं खेले, but the manager more often than not does not get a job because he's relegated unless you're a Scott Parker. So it's something of that sort. So yes, it's going to be a fun season for me because I'm really excited to see what this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer-led Manchester United is capable of doing, especially in an environment where City have strengthened, Chelsea have strengthened, while United have played catch up. Let's not even go into that myth that we had a good window. We have just caught up with our rivals, and our rivals
right. We have not
went a step
strengthened.
ahead.
We have not strengthened.
No,
we have just basically
we
put in the
caught up.
pieces. Chelsea have strengthened.
Yeah. Yes,
City
Chelsea
have strengthened.
City have strengthened. Yeah, we haven't. We are just playing catch-up game. We just reached to their catch-up level, and suddenly they said, you know what? I think United might cause a lot of trouble, so let's go a level up. What did Chelsea do? Selling Zuma off, signing Jules Koundé because they wanted option in their defense. What did Liverpool do? Okay, fine, we cannot spend like the City and United, so we'll renew the contract of the long-lasting players because they are our base. They signed Ibrahima Konate, who's an excellent addition to that squad, but they tied down more important players for the team, and that's pretty important if you are a Liverpool fan. And on top of that, what did City do? They said, we may not get a striker. Let's see, they would have ideally wanted someone like a Messi or, a Kane for that matter of fact. But then, okay, fine, didn't get it. Let's go for Grealish. That gives them an extra dimension. And we saw the game against Norwich. City were rampant, and Jack Grealish, of all the criticism he got in the first game, suddenly looks like a different animal. And United have just got what they should have got last window, a centre back and a right winger. We haven't practically signed anyone.
Right.
We are just playing catch up.